Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Healing Conversations. My name is Zainab Avni. I'm an energy healer and a coach. And this podcast is all about healing conversations. It's a place where, I don't know, I just want you to listen and get whatever it is that you're meant to hear here. Maybe it's a gift. There is a gift for you here in this conversation, and I hope you open your heart and just accept it or receive it. And so let's get started. With me today is Tania Galvani. Tania, hello, hello. So lovely to have you here. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Lovely to be here.
Awesome. Let's get started. So tell us a little bit about you.
Um, I'm a naturopath, so I work with natural health. So I work with energy healing, kinesiology. I work with scalar therapy, so for pain relief, nutritional therapy, and bioenergetic health screening.
Wow, there is a lot there. So before we get any deeper, let's understand what some of these terms mean, so we can make sure that we are all on the same page. So naturopath, is that how you spell it? Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's just helping someone to improve their health through natural therapies. So the nutrition is all about what's going the physical, so what's going into the body. The bioresonance also looks at energetic imbalances in the body and helps bring the person back into balance, back into health. The energy healing works with obviously with the energy field. So I mean, unwellness, dis-ease, it starts in the energy field before it makes its way to the physical. So it's really important to be working also with the energy body when you're healing the person as a whole. The scalar therapy is used a lot for. It's a little device. It's used for to help relieve pain in the body. So it works with the signals from the brain to the area of pain, and it helps to relieve the pain.
So someone comes in and they say, "I've got a back pain and it's been going on forever." How do you know where to get started? Which of these will you go to first, or how will you decide what is the best tool or method to use with that person?
So I can look at which therapy to use by muscle testing. So by using kinesiology, so that's basically a connection with the higher self of the um, of the person. So might use the arm to muscle test them to see um, what the person needs, which therapy would be the priority,
Hmm.
which would benefit them most at that time, and then that's gives me kind of a direction as to where to go.
And do you have a preference? Usually, do you have like a method that that you know that always works, or that you prefer to work with?
Um, I guess there's therapies that I prefer, but I think it's really important to just tune into the client, the person that I'm working with, and see actually um, what do they with muscle test and see what they actually need.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you have all of these different methods, then of course, find out what is their highest self believes is the most important thing. Absolutely. And so let's back up a little bit and tell me how did you get into all of this?
Um, I've always been into natural medicine, homeopathy, that kind of thing. And then when my one of my children was small, a toddler, we noticed that he needed some extra support with development and things like that. And through nutrition and the bioresonance and also homeopathy, we managed to have basically get amazing results. And I realized actually how powerful it is, um, just what you put into your body. Sorry. Um, yeah, and then that was kind of what the catalyst to where I started training with what I do. And then
Mhm.
one thing kind of led to the other with the started the nutritional therapy and then the kinesiology and then the energy healing. So yeah.
Yeah. Right. And so let's talk about nutrition for a minute. I had a conversation last week with someone about, I think the conversation was called Healing with the Wisdom of Chinese Medicine. And she was mostly concentrating on the nutrition. And it was really interesting to for her. She said that the whole grain is the most important thing, that when you allow yourself, when you actually add that to your daily food intake, it can really bring a lot of it can start a lot of good new things. It can start a lot of good things when we listen to the body. What do you think about that? I mean, for me, nutrition has always been very, very confusing. Like, always thinking I have an idea of what is healthy eating, and then noticing that my body doesn't necessarily agree with that. So how do you know, how does someone know what is the right thing for them?
Often people will come to see me if they've got they might have bloating or digestive issues or constipation, or usually they have something that's not quite right. And often we're eating things that stresses our body and our gut.
Hmm.
So yeah, what you eat is it's really important. And actually, when we eat well, when we eat a diet that our body likes, that's healthy, and that um, avoiding things that kind of stress sensitivities that we have, it makes you feel really good. Like you can kind of yeah.
I know what you mean. Because when we do detox and stuff like that, then all of a sudden you feel like there's something there that hasn't been for a while, or maybe there is nothing there that was there for a while. Depends on how you look at it. Um, yeah. So what are some of your recommendations in terms of how to know what to do, what to eat, and what not to eat?
um you mean what kind of recommendations would I give to a kind of a client? I think a
Mm.
rainbow diet's always important. So try and have 30 different vegetables, salads every week, variation, variety. Um, have kind of a protein, a healthy fat, um, a non-starchy carb in your meals. Drink, at least 2 liters of water every day. I mean, I like to wake up and have a big mug of warm lemon water to start with.
Mm.
I like juicing, smoothies, that kind of thing as well, to get the nutrients in. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we're all individual, aren't we? So different eating styles suit different constitutions, different um, people, and it depends what's going on with their body and what they need.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I also start the day with a big mug of warm lemon water.
How do you?
I do.
It's good. It alkalizes the body and it kickstarts the metabolism.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people were saying, but that it doesn't help for the things that we think it does, and I'm like, no, it helps me. I like it. I'm going to continue doing that.
Well, if it feels good doing it, then that's a good sign, isn't it?
Yeah,
Your
totally.
body feels good from it.
Yeah, and so tell me, you mentioned also the energy healing. What kind of energy healing do you do?
Um, so I trained in spiritual healing. I did a 2 year course in that a few years ago, and I work with I channel energy. So channel it through my hands, and I work quite intuitively with moving the energy also. Um, so I can kind of feel where a blockage is in the body. I work with the chakras with that while doing that as well. Um, yeah, and I really enjoy doing that.
And
Um,
how tell me, how do you do that? I mean, I was curious about that. Sometimes when I do, meditation or intentions, for myself or others that I want to heal, I do have this kind of, I guess I imagine that I have this ball of energy in my hand, and I move it on someone's, whatever, wherever the pain is. But that's just my imagination, I imagine. So what 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 is how do you get started with that? What tell me a secret?
You need to attune yourself, and you need to be centered. I think before you start to heal, you have to kind of be grounded. So, and then it's like you're bringing a light through you, through your crown chakra, and through your hands onto the person that you're healing. I guess you've got to take your mind out of the way. That's pretty important, really.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, because if you're thinking about what you're going to do the next day or what you're going to have for dinner, then you're not being a great channel. So it's about kind of bringing your mind out of the way and just letting the energy go, like through your hands. And usually can feel the person feels tingling or heat, or they might feel coolness, depending on what it is that they need. Different people, different sensations, so it's difficult to say what they feel. And then the more you do it, the more I do it, the more kind of I could sense where the energies aren't with my hands, feel the energy where it's kind of blocked and not flowing as it should be, and then moving it with my hands. Yeah.
And when you do that, as you say, maybe someone comes with bloating or some problems with their digestive systems, and you work with them with the spiritual healing. Will you need to do, is it one session and it's cleared, or is it like a session, like a series of sessions that you would normally do? I'm sure there's each case to its own, but what would that be normally?
It depends. If someone's just coming, they've had healing before and they just want, to have some relaxation, then maybe one session. Often if someone's got something going on health-wise, then I do a course of 3 or a course of 6, either weekly or bi-weekly, to get the best results. I mean, if they haven't had healing before, then quite often they need, their body really benefits from a few sessions, a few healings. And then every time they feel progressively kind of better.
That's something that is always interesting for me when I work with people. So in my work, as I use the energy healing of emotion and body codes modalities, and I work with people remotely most of the time, and I connect with people to the subconscious mind, and then I become the translator. So their subconscious mind is telling me what I need to do, and that's what that's what I do. And it's always interesting for me because I always ask, as I do this, I'm asking people how are they feeling or what are they noticing, and some people really get all of this, what you said, right? The tingling and the feeling something is moving and traveling. Some people start really feel much lighter already after just releasing some of the trapped emotions. So it's really interesting for me to notice how people react to the changes that they're feeling, and of course when they're noticing it, that helps them to believe that this is also working, because of course it is working.
Yeah, a lot of people are a bit skeptical when they come. They're not used to healing, that kind of thing, and they kind of think, oh, how can that work? So
Yes.
it's important to experience it, and it's
Yes.
brilliant, the body emotional code, that kind of thing. I do that as well.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant way of healing.
I think so, and it's interesting because, like I said, the skepticals, they really, they're nearly trying to say, well, yeah, fine, do it, but I don't think it's going to work on me. It's like, yeah, but I'm not talking to your conscious mind, I'm talking to your subconscious mind. And as long as that believes me, then that's okay.
And some people aren't ready, or they don't. I mean, some people will block
Yeah.
the healing, and then you just can't do it if they're blocking it on some level.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they're open to it, which you can tell as soon as you kind of tune into the person, then it's doing something.
But this is
Sometimes
really
they can
interesting.
feel a lot, sometimes they can't. Sorry.
Yeah. No, no, sorry. I was just going to say, I was just saying that it was really interesting because, like, I have a client at the moment, and he has some pains in his leg, and we've been walking for, I think it's the fourth session now that we had today, and things are not moving the way that I would expect. Now, of course, I don't have attachments to the outcome. It's not that, but I already know that by session 3, I expect to see a lot more shifting than he has. And so today, in the conversation that we had, was really about resistance. Why? How come the pain is still there? How come it's not shifting? And that opened up a really interesting conversation about if the pain is still here, and we agree that there is resistance. That's the kind of it was kind of obvious that there was someone was stopping
Yeah.
something from happening. Then we were able to shift the conversation and see actually what is the pain here to do. How come the pain is still here? How come it's not being shifted? And so, because we are having the conversations, we can really go a lot deeper than we would otherwise. Um, and then, of course, we need to see what is the gift. What is the thing that the pain is giving you that if it wasn't there, you wouldn't be able to have.
Yeah,
So
it's so important to have that conversation.
yeah,
Because I guess part of healing, be it with nutrition, with energy healing, with the emotion code, you're kind of coaching the client also. The healing starts when you start the consultation. You start talking,
yeah,
because
yeah,
sometimes you need to have a shift, don't you, in the mindset. Yeah,
yeah.
important part.
For me, my sessions are definitely both about the conversations and the energy healing, because yes, I believe that you have to have both in order to make the shifts, and the just bringing things out into the open can help you to feel a big change. Um, the other thing that you mentioned earlier when you were describing everything that you do was this, did you call it scanner or something?
Yeah, that was for the pain. That was mostly for pain relief.
So is that the thing that I think you must told me, like it's like a wand, like a is that the thing that looks like a
No,
wand? No.
it's a small kind of handheld device, um, and it works with the messages from the brain to the area of pain, and it helps the body to release neuropeptides and endorphins so that it can actually heal the body, heal the pain and the
Yeah.
body.
How
So
fascinating.
it's really good for things like sciatica. I mean, it works on it. I use it more for pain, but it's used for other things as well. I mean, it can be used to help with lymphatic drainage. Some people use it for cosmetology, even for all sorts of issues. It can be used when my I've used it before on one of my children to help with when they were little with their communication. I used it on their thumb to help with the speech, because our hands have got the reflexology points as well.
Yeah. So you
But
have to know all of these
it's a
things.
powerful, it's a good device.
And I mean, how come this is not something that we go to the pharmacy and get that instead of a painkiller?
Well, I think everyone should have one in their first aid kit.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to look into that. It sounds a little bit better than popping pills.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really good.
yeah. So tell us a little bit. Can you tell us or share with us some success stories or case studies that you've had with some clients?
um I kind of like meet my clients where they're at with their health.
Mm.
Often they don't know exactly what it is that they um they don't know where to go with it. And often if it's, we'll start with the nutritional side. So look at kind of what's going on in the body, what's not right there. I see a lot of people someone might come for with issues with hay fever, with eczema, with digestive issues. They might come, I help quite a lot of people with trauma also, that have been through a past trauma, and that they might not be sleeping, they might be anxious because of that, not being able to function properly. And so I've got a lot of things that we use, to go back and look at, release that trauma. Some things with some techniques with kinesiology, others with kind of taking them back, and then releasing the trauma, and like kind of looking at forgiveness and just letting go. So a lot of people do come with that kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess we all have we all have traumas, even if we don't necessarily know to call it that.
We all have trauma, and it certain emotions accumulate in different parts of the body. For example, anger, resentment is the liver, gallbladder. So it's important to release these. So you can release them with the meridians, the kinesiology. I guess it's something that you can do with the emotion code as well. You're looking at releasing these past traumas and emotions that are kind of stored. I also use the Journey by Brandon Bay. I don't know if you know it. It takes the person back. And you have to feel, basically to do that, you have to feel the emotion. You feel a series of different emotions, because it's about feeling them to let go. So you feel the emotion to then let go of the emotion, and then it takes them back to actually bring the people that were involved with the trauma into the circuit, and understand from their higher selves, from their spiritual selves, what happened. And although probably wasn't right what they did, but just forgive in the end, forgive the situation, so that you're not holding on to those energies that aren't doing you any good. So that's quite a powerful technique way with trauma as well.
I imagine that would be, again, talking about resistance. I guess some people, are holding or have been holding these traumas for such a long time that they don't want them to be in their body, but they don't know what they would be or who they would be without them. So it's
and they put it, because it's something that hurts them. They kind of don't bring it to the surface, and you've got to sometimes bring things to the surface to then let go of them. Yeah. It's kind of about acknowledging it, bringing it, and just letting go, I guess.
And this letting go, that's quite interesting for me, because I know that when we talk about emotions, we say emotions come in and then they have a peak, and then you just let them, just be, and then after 90 seconds they disappear. And I like that, actually, for myself. Sometimes if I feel, anger or frustration or something like that, I just say, count, let the 90 seconds go, and then I know that if I keep having the emotion, it's basically, my choice. And so I say, really let it go. But when you say, you bring the emotion to the surface, and then you let it go, what is that like? What does it look like in real life?
So if we're doing for example, this journey, this meditation, then they'll be thinking about, like if they've got a sadness, then they'll be thinking about that sadness, just not dwelling in it, but just for like a minute or so. Yeah. Just experiencing it, bringing it out, and then another emotion will come, usually to the surface. It might be anger or whatever it is, and then I ask them to experience it in their cells. Just breathe it in, and then a few emotions will come kind of one after the other, and then I ask them to experience it and let go. Because often if something happens, often if we're, for example, when children are little, and if something happens and they cry and they get upset, quite often adults will say, oh, just, it's fine, you're okay, stop crying, stop,
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think that's the right way. I think they should actually, if they're feeling sad or angry or frustrated, let them experience it, understand it, and then let it go, instead of because then it bottles up if you just aren't able to express it. It stays with you.
So breathing into the emotion and maybe not judging it. I guess that's something that comes up as well, and
Yeah.
then that will help to let them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's simple, right? And the question is, if it's this simple, why is it that we don't do it? Why are we always repressing our emotions? Why do we say, oh, I'm fine, and we don't actually let the emotion be?
I guess it's what we've been taught, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure. As you say, it's the thing of don't cry, don't don't worry about it. It wasn't such a big deal. Instead of saying no, cry, cry it out, just deal with it, and allowing
I think
people to
it's a
be
healthier way in the end, isn't it,
totally,
for the body?
completely. Yes, I mean, I have a webinar that I'm just about to start doing about recognizing the stress before it becomes chronic pain, and I know that some people, some people will have stress that they don't recognize as stress, and they may or may not end up having chronic pain or chronic illness. But I want to make sure that people are aware of the relationship or the connection between the stressed and the repressed emotion, and how we end up feeling physically.
Yeah, I mean, stress is a big one, isn't it, that lots of us experience, and it's often the kind of the cause of other things that lead to unwellness. I mean, something simple for to help bring because if you're stressed, your nervous system is in that fight or flight mode, so in the sympathetic activated nervous system. And for you to be able to heal and actually to digest food and to function properly, you need to be in the parasympathetic activated nervous system, so in that rest and relaxed state. As a really simple thing to get into that state is to do deep diaphragmatic breathing for 10 minutes, because it actually puts your body into the parasympathetic activated, so it puts it into that rested and relaxed mode. So that's something that's simple and it's really easy to do, and if people do that a couple of times, 10 minutes every day, it'll help keep the stress levels down.
Yeah. So is that like, I mean, what I do here sometimes is, 4, 4, 4, 4, kind of take a deep breath on four, count of four, and then hold for four and release for four, hold
Yeah,
for
you
four,
can
and
do it
do
like
that.
that,
Is that one
like
of them?
box breathing. Yeah, or you can just breathe in and then just take a big breath out and just focus for a few minutes on that breathing, and it kind of puts the nervous system back where it needs
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah. I find myself having these kind of conversations lately with all sorts of, in all sorts of platforms about, how do you know when you're being triggered with your nervous system? And actually, it's because you look, you're holding your breath, and, you're in that kind of ready to pounce kind of, your
Yeah,
whole being. So,
and
yes.
a lot of us are naturally shallow breathers,
Yeah.
so it's kind of difficult, it's not natural to breathe deeply.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That does look a little bit. It does take a while to
And when you're
say it.
stressed, you're going to be breathing even more shallowly.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yes. Breathing. I used to whenever when people would say, oh, do some breathing, I used to get like, "Huh?" I don't want to breathe. Stop telling me to breathe. But when I tried it, I was like, yeah, okay, it works.
You get used to it. It's habit. Everything's habit, isn't it? When you do it for a while, for a few weeks, it becomes a habit.
True, true.
Yeah.
I'm better with that now. I'm not as resistant of the breathing idea anymore. Um, so Tanya, we nearly have to finish. Any last thoughts, messages, tips for our listeners before we say goodbye for today?
No, well, it's been really nice speaking to you. Yeah.
Thank you. It was lovely to talk to you too. And if anyone is interesting to continue the conversation, I will put all of your links at the bottom of whatever platform people are noticing this conversation. And yeah, if you've
Thank
watched
you.
this, then please like, subscribe, make a comment, leave a comment. We would be very happy to hear from you. Thank you so much, Tanya, for being here with me today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye.